Are you ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon.
Well, welcome to the Roundtable, everybody. My name is Robert Bannon. You're listening to us on Broadway World or over here on the Broadway Podcast Network, and I'm super excited. I think you're a real actor, Isaac. Isaac Krasner, you're a real actor.
I think so. I can't really believe that though.
You're a real act. Like you have like inde Now listen, my cousin Adrienne is watching right now. She watches all our episodes. She is like a movie nista. Like she calls me and says, "What'd you think of the Spirit Awards? What'd you think of this?" Like she is going to be so excited that you're here
Oh, I
because
gotta put on my best performance for her.
no, you're gonna put on your, but come on. So Isaac, before we get into the film and we talk about why you're here, when did you get the bug? When did acting become your thing?
Well, that's a great question. My mom went to theater school, and we lived in the city when I grew up. And theater people, she was around them all the time, and being around me, they're like, that kid. Oh, so sorry. They're like that kid. He's got a face. He's got a face, and he's got a personality. And I actually thought the auditions were the job for the longest time. Funny enough, I started auditioning with I started auditioning in the city doing it was strong. It started off real strong. It was auditions back to back, and I loved it. And I actually, when I found out that the audition wasn't the job, I stopped for a while, and picked it back up more so when I moved out to Connecticut, and have been building my roles.
Oh, can I ask you a personal question?
Please,
How old are you? Because you're a baby.
I'm 18.
Oh, that's get off my show. What? At 18 with movies and this whole experience?
I,
What?
I can't believe I do. Trust me, I have the same feeling about it too. Like going out to that brunch I went out to recently. It was so surreal. Like I can't really. I can't. I'm right there with you.
My socks are 18 years old, Isaac.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
I'm
weird.
so excited for you. I'm jealous. But I'm excited because
Thank you.
I give you a lot of courage. I always tell the story that at 18 years old, I was going to Juilliard and I chickened out. Like I chickened out of being an actor because I felt it was scary. I went on a bad audition for a Broadway show and I said, I can't do this. So when I see people who have the pressure but love the work and you stay tight and you go through the goods and the bad and you lose roles and you work hard and like it is inspiring to me at 41 to hear you have the courage and chutzpah to go fight the fight. I wish you had everyone watching this, an acting student or wants to do what you do, like, don't give up, just keep going. And you're an example of like, there had to be moments when you were like, this is scary, this is too overwhelming, this is not,
Yes.
and you did it.
Yes. That is a very good point you make. I think it's, an underratedly stressful uh, industry, obviously, but especially when you're filming, you're around all these people, all these older people that have been doing this for 20 years, and they're like, hey kid, go do that. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. I can figure it out. I'll figure it out. And it's hard. It's hard. You're so right. It's not easy.
Well,
So
we're talking about Big Boys, is the film that
yeah,
we're talking about.
yeah,
How did this film come to you? What was the journey? Was it a self-tape? Was it an audition? Was it through your
yeah.
team? Like, how was
It
the
was
role to get here?
for sure. It was a lot quicker than I could have ever imagined. In Corey's words, I was one of the first auditions to come through. Or I think maybe the first, I'm not so sure, but it was a self tape. I self taped, just at my house before. This is before we have a little studio now, but we little tchotchke set up in the corner of my living room, and we filmed that, and was almost when I had gone on a vacation to my grandmother's house in Dallas, we got a email that I was set up for a uh interview with Corey, and it all went smoothly from there.
It's amazing. So what was it like when you got the call that you were going to do this film? What was it like? Do you remember the moment? Do you remember the day? Do you remember the
I
city?
do. I remember. I do exactly remember, and the feeling is surreal. I mean, when there's something that you love doing, and the work that you paid off the work that you put into that pays off in one foul sweep. It is so overwhelming in the best ways. Like my mind was racing. All I could say is my mind was racing in the best way.
Amazing. So tell us about the film. What is the film? What is Big Boys? And what was it like to be a part of this? What is it about? What
Yeah.
scoop?
Well, Big Boys is a full-length feature film about a boy who is 15 or 16, and is portrayed by me. And he is a he's a boy that he's a lost boy. He's a lost boy trying to navigate himself. The film is portrayed about him discovering himself to be queer, but I think it's about more than just that. I think it's about how, you know, there's so much there's so many doors to walk through as a kid, and figuring that out is not easy. And he falls in love, quote unquote, with his cousin's boyfriend on a camping trip that they go on with his brother. And the story is, tries to capture the awkward nature of how he navigates that feeling.
Well, as a queer fellow myself, as is the character, the journey, it's really fun to see a movie like this, everybody. And a lot of my LGBT family that's out here, a lot of people, we look for representation in film because so many people, Valentine's Day comes up and you have an anniversary and a date night and you want to have a romantic evening with your significant other. We don't get to see ourselves depicted, and we never get to see coming out stories that are not traumatic and people getting rid of their families, throwing them into the street and homeless. It's nice to see a story about just a camp, cooking, people, campfire, like a moment where people just get to come together, and a sweet come of age story.
Yeah, most definitely. And I got to hand it to Corey for that. I mean, his writing captured exactly that. I mean, this story, you're so right. There are so many stories that talk about the mainly the hardships of what it's like to be queer, and to have a story that captures the cute, funny, and awkward nature of it and the discovery of it in a wholesome way is so rare and so special. And I'm so, grateful to be a part of that project.
So you play Jamie in this film, and then you have Allie and Dan and Will and Nicole, all the other characters that play. What can you say about them as actors? What was it like to show?
I
Is it
can, I
scary on the first day of a set?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. I mean, the coolest thing about this project actually is Corey so kind enough to give us a whole week to work to rehearse it as a cast. And believe it or not, that's pretty rare. That's not a very common thing to happen. And I can't say I could have got any luckier with the people that I was cast with for this role. Taj, I became very, very close with. He is someone that I still keep up with to this day. He's like a beautiful actor, a beautiful man, a wonderful guy. Very grateful to him. Every single person on that set, it was like a little family, all of them.
I love this, and I often wonder what it's like on a film set when you didn't know everybody that was there. So you're acting,
No, I don't know.
and you're vulnerable. Like this is a personal, like a story about a personal internal conflict, and you have to bear your heart and your emotions out in front of everyone. How do you get through the fear? What is it like to remember your lines, remember your mark, and
Yeah.
not worry about the judgment you're hearing from the crew and people that are all around you?
That's a good question. I'll touch back on the other cast part on that for a second, because I don't the question the answer is I'm not sure I would have been able to do what I did if my vulnerability wasn't facilitated to the degree that it was by the people on that set. Like I said, it was a family working with people like David Johnson and Dora Madison. These are just some of the most, kind and wonderful. Like it took me even if we didn't have that rehearsal, I would have been able to do it, because they're like a diamond in the rough, like wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people and terrific actors.
Well, I want people to know that this film, you got to check it out. And B, February 22nd, you're nominated. You're nominated That's for a film independent nomination like that you're nominated Breakthrough Award. The film is nominated for. Your budget was less than $1 million.
Yes.
So for you to be an independent and be nominated and to be with these amazing, I mean, you see the people that are nominated for some of the awards, like mega superstar movie stars, and you get to go and be there. Are you going to be there in person? Are you going to the awards?
I am indeed. I will be there.
Do you have an outfit? Do you have a guest you're bringing? Like, what is it?
DL, you can't know about that now, but yes, I
Okay.
do.
I'm not going to say anything. I don't want. I'm not going to ask. But you're together. You feel ready.
Oh yeah. I'm terrified. But yeah.
What's the worst thing that happens?
Well,
Win.
I I think for what for the reason that you mentioned, it all like when I was there last, I met one of my favorite actors. I met Sebastian Stan. Um and the I think that was a little bit of a reality check for me. Like these are see there's some big dogs here, So yeah, it's scary. It's I mean I think I've got a wonderful team behind my mom, my wonderful mom, who's been my D1 supporter in all of this, is going to be with me and my whole family, and I'll have my amazing management team with Zach and Joni who are going to be there with me every step of the way. So I'm a little less scared.
I don't think you need to be scared because it's your moment and you should just take it, own it, and run with it because you put in the work, you connected to the audience and the community and the industry. He sees it and they see it, and then just, that's beautiful. You're right where you're supposed to be on the 22nd for sure. Um, I was reading a lot about what people have said about the film, and especially Corey. And what my question about all of this is that he talks about in his press release and some of the things about the internalized homophobia and some of the things that this character has to go through, what it means to be out and all of this stuff. How do you find, is it daydreaming? Like as a nerdy actor that I am, like how do you find the behavior that you can't say I'm homophobic about myself on screen and it translates? It's through your behavior, it's through your motion, it's through the nerves, it's through the feelings, and that's a very intimate, very nuanced, small thing. But you can't sit there and say, move my hand and look nervous. And you just are living in the experience. So, what is the homework like for you to show up the day to shoot? To show,
Well, that's a good question. I find myself to be someone who's very I feel like I'm very tapped into my emotions. I think about my emotions all the time, and when I think about my emotions all the time, I can recall to emotions I've had in the past. And the I myself have been someone who went through a phase in my life where I I did question my own sexuality. And hey, Wallace,
that's okay.
Wallace, oh man, that's not convenience. Give me 30 seconds.
Please take your time.
So sorry about that.
No, please. Are you kidding? You're living life.
But yeah, basically, the tapping into something like that was something that it was already a part of me. It was already a part of me, and when something is already ingrained in you, pulling those strings becomes easier. And tapping into Jamie, someone who is so lost in so many ways, is was a very familiar experience for me, and it made the whole process a whole lot easier.
Oh, well, it's going to live on screen. So when you see this film, everybody, and when you find out more information about it, and you get to be Jamie, you get to and watch Isaac be Jamie. You'll see this what I'm talking about in person. I think everybody has no matter what sexuality are, no matter where you live, no matter where you grew up, everybody has their first crush. Everyone has their story about when they discovered that they liked somebody and it wasn't in a platonic. You saw that boy, you saw that girl, you saw that person. So reminisce. It's kind of a cute. It's a cute time of year for these things like this to happen. You have a lot of work. Like you have other projects going on.
I do. Yeah, I do have other projects going. I am Grateful to say that I was also able to be a part of a project with Nicole Kidman called Coming to Holland. It's been changed many times, this name, but yeah, I'm God. I could also talk a whole lot about that. I mean, that project is has been in the works, and I'm very very excited for that to come to light because it shows a contrast. Like, so it shows a very strong contrast between these two characters.
Oh, so you play something different in this next.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
well, I'm in Michigan right now, so I feel like we have to check that out. We're gonna have to check out
it's
that film
exciting.
when it comes out. Do you get excited now to play many different? You mentioned Sebastian Stan. Sebastian Stan, we went to the same acting school. I taught him nothing, but but you both you like he is a chameleon. He changes into it. So the scariness to play a different character and not be typecast. You don't seem like that scares you. You're ready to go.
I'm ready to go. I really am, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the Coming to Holland project because it allowed me to show, more as an actor what I am capable of. Because Jamie, on one hand, is a very quiet and very very focused on the little aspects, the micro expressions, and how he says certain things, which is great, and it's important. But a character where there's a lot more uh, physical acting and maybe a more of an aggressive side is where what shows the contrast that I'd be grateful for.
Well, get ready to have more nominations next year. Let's go. So when we were watching the awards, of course, Independent Spirit Awards on the 22nd, so make sure you check them out. And then while we're talking about the film, how can we support the film? How can we all support Big Boys? Like where can we watch it? How can we be a part of it so that we can see the performance that you're worked
Uh,
on?
well, in terms of distribution, I myself am not so very caught up on this. But for in terms of definitely in terms of the Spirit Awards, that is being live streamed to IMDb, which is something that everyone should and can watch if they want. Please do.
And you
Um,
should. And the film, people could watch the film. All you have to do is Google the film, and it will show you the different places that the film is available. You can get it on demand, and you can check out your performance. You're everywhere, Isaac. You're everywhere.
Crazy.
Everywhere. Watch the film. You're everywhere. You are quite the artist too, because you're not just an actor. You're a musician and all of that. So how would you marry the two worlds together? Being a movie star now, do you get to work in music as much as you wanted to be?
Well, music is was the first form of self-expression I ever was taught by my wonderful dad, who's a great guitarist, and I'm a drummer of 10 years, and I my that was definitely my first artistic expression through music. And when I found out I could also do it by uh, acting, which is basically how I felt all the time, doing impressions from 5 years old, like it just the two come together. And I will also say there's a certain rhythm in acting. There's a certain rhythm, a cadence that you need to be that I've been able to tap into mainly because of my musical capabilities to a degree. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, so we're talking about Big Boys, everybody. We're talking about Isaac's nominations, Independent Spirit Award nominations, and more. Breakthrough Performance, films nominated as well. And if you're my LGBT family, we're the roundtable. Drag queens say this is where the queer kids come to play. So if you're out here watching, then this film is literally made for you. A lot of things have been made of this kind of material, and I know Heartstoppers was a huge hit, and all these shows that are out here, and Love Simon and all these things that are here. What we need, representation matters in art. So this is something for everybody. Do you look at the people that have seen it? Do you get DMs? Do you get messages from people who may have depicted themselves, who have seen you and seen
Yeah.
this performance, and it means something personal to them?
Yeah, I read letterbox reviews all the time, and I get DMs on my main account, and it's not weird, as I love them. It's amazing, but like it's weird, like people are reaching out to me, like it's a weird it's a I can't describe the feeling. I can't even find the words. But it's a very special thing. There have been people that have reached out to me with wonderful things to say. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing, there's no other feeling from having someone reach out to you about something that you worked so hard on and say, this changed my life too, or this made me think different about my life. That is what I want. I want to, in my performance, all I want is for someone to see it and for it to elicit a reaction as strong as that. That's my dream. I don't even need to get paid if I can do that.
Well, don't let your managers know that, Isaac. He needs to get paid. Lots of money. Big money. No, you just gotta get, but I understand the payback, the humanity and seeing your work and the people's reaction to the work and that you're feeling means the world. That's what you do. You're an artist. That's sharing your heart. It is moving to me that people can see this film, and it's moving to me that there's a generation of people who may see a film like yours and say that the people they love, the crushes they have, or who they are as a person, and accepting their own sexuality and who they are, may be able to be represented because many people grew up and didn't have that. So that's really God's work. That's like beautiful intervention of work that you're doing, Isaac, for the world. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Worldly question. Like I said, I teach musical theater, I teach acting, and my question for you is, you talk about taping, you talk about meetings, you talk about scene work. What is your recommendation as a young actor for those sides that get sent to you and you have to self-tape? What is the recommendation of, you only get 2 pages, and you have to flesh out a character and put it on screen? How much work do you put into the preparation for when you get asked to put something on tape?
That's a great question. The first thing I'll say is I am blessed. My mother is a phenomenal acting coach, whether she wants to admit that or not. And I am so grateful to have her read lines with me. So it's definitely you're always gonna have an edge if you have someone who, it'd be great if they knew what they were doing, but at least someone to read with you. If you have someone to read with you and you have, your spot, it's all about the mindset that you can tap into when reading your sides. How can you relate to this character? How can I relate to this character? What does this character mean? What's the journey in each scene? What does this person mean by saying that? And if you're asking how long it takes, it depends. I mean, sometimes I'll get a 1-page, 1-scene script with 5 lines that'll take me 3 days to become familiar with, because there's so much complexity. Or there will be a character that has 50 lines that is very long, but only takes me a short amount of time, because the lines are always going to come secondary to familiarizing myself with how this character operates.
That's why you're nominated for Independent Spirit Award, and that's why I have a podcast, because that sounds like a lot of work. And you're going to do it and not get the role, and you're going to wake up the next day and do another one and do another one.
That's right. That is a very good point. It's you have to do the audition and detach yourself from it. Otherwise, you'll get caught up and you won't want to keep doing it. But I love it, and the idea of having the job is great, but being able to, even first off, getting an audition, I'm already grateful for. Every time I get an audition, I feel grateful. But I have so much fun filming. So it's really, that's half of it.
It's the chance to act, and that's the great thing about it, for sure. Well, Big Boys is out, everybody, and you could be checking it out. You could be streaming it. You could be watching it. Spirit Award nominated Big Boys, the film, and breakthrough actor, right here with us. And you can, if you don't take my word for it, Outfest, Palm Springs Film Festival, tons of LGBT and regular film festival, Provincetown. There's a theme here: Provincetown, Palm Springs, Outfest. It's for my people. People, come on, come see the movie. And anyone who just loves growing up and falling in love and all those things. Congratulations. I'm ready. I'm ready to watch the Independent Spirit Awards. I'm ready just for the ensemble. I'm ready for that. You left us hanging about what you're wearing. That's it.
That's it.
And I'll be at the movie theater to see you and Nicole Kidman in Michigan. I'll be in Michigan watching.
Michigan. Lovely. I'm so excited.
And I'm ready for you to be a big giant star and never to return our call and never be on our show again, because you'll be too busy, Isaac. It's okay.
I'll be back next week.
All right. Thanks. You're welcome. Anytime. Congratulations. We're so grateful you spent time with us. Thank you so much for being here. And the best is yet to come. Our fingers are crossed. We got this. You got this.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys.